Hey YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to Chironus Things. Today we're going to take a look at the Wurkkos TS26S. Let's get started with the size on this flashlight. I'll go ahead and throw the dimensions up on the side of the screen. And while we're looking at that, let's look at some size comparisons here. So first, I have a Firefly Light EO7, which is also a 21700 side switch light. This one has 7 519As in the head. So as far as the length, there we go. You see that the Wurkkos is a hair longer there with the crenulated bezel. On the tube, well, you can only get it so close with the magnets, but very, very close there. And on the head, just slightly larger on that EO7, but overall pretty similar on size there. Next, I have a Bright PT16A. So this is also a 21700 light, but this is in dual switch. The PT16A is quite a bit larger than the Wurkkos here as far as length. On the tube, the Bright still larger, and on the head, quite a bit larger as well there. So that's a 21700 dual switch light. And then one more here, I've actually got an 18650 flashlight, the Wurkkos TD03. This is a rotary switch style light. On the length here, you'll see that the Wurkkos is actually not that long for a 21700 light, shorter there than the TD03. The TD03 is a bit thinner on both the tube and the head. So that's the size on the TS26S. As far as battery and charging on this flashlight, this comes with a 21700 battery. Let's take a look at it. So we have a Wurkkos branded 21700 and 5000 milliamps, 3.6 volts. That is going to be a flat top protected battery. And that can be accessed via the tail or the head. The battery indicator is located on the side switch. That comes on when the flashlight is turned on. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and you'll see that I'm getting a steady green. That means that my battery is somewhere between 100% charged to 75%. If it's flashing green, you're between 75 to 50. If it's solid red, you're between 50 to 25. And if it's flashing red, you're under 25% battery. And when you turn this flashlight on, though the battery indicator does come on, it does shut off after about 5 seconds. This does have USB-C recharging. The port's located on the back. Here you can see we have a nice slim and discreet flap. And there's our charging port. From a completely empty battery, this takes about 2.5 hours to recharge when charging through the flashlight on the USB-C cable. The TS26S also has a power bank function, meaning that you can plug your USB cable into the back of your flashlight here, and then I plug the other side into another device. I can actually discharge my Wurkkos battery into whatever device that I'm wanting to recharge, including cell phones. When using the power bank function, one thing to note is that when the battery indicator on the Wurkkos starts flashing red, that means you're under 25% left of your discharge battery. Let's move on to the overall design on this flashlight. This is IP68 rated against dust and water. Now, moving down to the tail of this flashlight, we do have a flat tail here with no switch on the bottom. We do have a magnet. The magnet sticks fairly well when upside down, And though this usually will stay in place when sticking the magnet on the side, sometimes it will give just a little bit of slide. Sometimes you can turn the flashlight to get it to stop sliding. So I would say overall, it's an okay magnet. I've certainly seen worse magnets on flashlights I've reviewed. However, I have seen some better ones as well. This flashlight does tail stand without any issue. However, I will note that if you're going to put a lanyard on the bottom like I did, the way that it's designed, the lanyard does stick out just a little bit here underneath the tail, so that does cause it to be just slightly wobbly. Moving up to the tube of the flashlight, you'll see that we have some spiraled cutouts for the knurling. This is a pretty unique design. It does add a little bit of grip because the cutouts are a little bit deep. However, I would say that it's nothing outstanding, but this is still pretty good. Moving to the head of the flashlight, we do have some small fin cutouts here for heat dissipation. For the switch, we do have a rubber switch here. It does protrude and it's rounded out just a little bit. It feels nice to click. It's got a good responsive button. I don't feel the switch protruding through whatsoever inside underneath the rubber. It feels pretty good to click. Overall, I'd say pretty average, nothing special about it, but it's a good button. As we continue up the flashlight here, you'll see we have a two-tone crenulated bezel. The crenulations are pretty decent on here. On the corners of the cutouts, it is slightly rounded, so it's not sharp. I'd like something personally that's a little bit sharper than this, but overall I still feel like it's a pretty decent bezel, and I do like it. Now, as far as the emitters, we are looking at a quad 519A, so we've got 4 LEDs in there using 519A emitters. These are going to give you high CRI. I believe the numbers are running somewhere between 95 to 97 CRI, so that's awesome. It comes in 5000K tint, so that's going to give you right around natural light on the tint there, so that's actually really great. These are great floody style emitters, and running 4 of these, they're going to be pretty impressive, as you'll see in the beam shots. For the driver on this flashlight, it's running a constant current boost driver. Now, what that means is it's going to be giving up a little bit of max brightness on the top end, but you are going to be getting better sustained output. Speaking of, let's go ahead and take a look at those performance numbers on the side of the screen. Let's take a look at the user interface on this flashlight. Now, of course, everything is going to be accessed through the single switch, which is on the side here. What I really like is it's a nice, simple user interface. Click on, click off. If you want to rotate your modes, you're going to hold while it's on to rotate through low, medium, and high. Those are your basic functions. Other things that you can do is you can access a moonlight mode, which is your ultra low mode. You can do that through while the light is off, holding, and you see there I get a very, very low moonlight mode, which is great to use around the house in the middle of the night. Additionally, if we triple click this light, we can get in a strobe. Triple click again, and we can cycle through its different strobe modes. One more feature it has, whether the light is on or off, if you double click, you can get into turbo, and double click to leave. This flashlight does have memory mode for the low, medium, and high. What that means is, let's go ahead and say that we leave this light on high mode. If we turn off the flashlight and turn it back on, it's going to go into high. Let's turn it down to low, turn it off, turn it back on, it goes into low. It does not, however, work for moonlight or turbo, so it's got to be in low, medium, or high for the memory mode to work. And one last thing on the user interface, you can click this 4 times to put it in lockout mode, and click it 4 times to leave lockout mode. Let's take this outside and look at some beam shots. Let's get into my final thoughts on this flashlight. I think that it offers a really great floody beam profile. Those quad 519As really shine in this flashlight. I love the sustained output that we get in that boost driver. And I love that we're able to get this type of performance out of something that is still carryable in a pants pocket. With the popularity of 21700 style lights with the quad 519As rising, one thing I will say is that I really think that this is a great alternative if you don't want to spend the money on the AceBeam E75. Being able to get this at half the cost, I really think will scratch that itch for you. Looking at the price, it's listed right now as $53 on Amazon. However, they're running 20% off, so you're going to actually be able to get this for $43. That's an incredible price for such a light, especially when you consider the E75 is right around $100, and this is doing pretty much everything that that's doing. I'll include the Amazon link in my description down below. And if you're still here in this video, thank you so much. I do want to note that I have noticed that only 3% of my viewers are subscribers. As a small channel, it would mean so much to me if you would consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching this video, and have a great week.